Welcome to Jets Postgame Live, presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealers to get behind the wheel of yours today. Alongside Bart Scott, Willie Colon, Connor Rogers. Can you zoom in on Willie's eyes real quick there? Anybody? Do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, that says it all. I'm Steve Gelbs. Guys, I mean, at this point, it's just getting embarrassing. Each and every week, it feels like this team is taking multiple steps backwards. I know the final score was 37-22. It was not even nearly that close. The Jets fall to 0-5 on the season. Aaron Glenn, the first Jets head coach to start his coaching tenure at 0-5. And you look at this team and you say to yourself, guys, what do they even do well? Today, the offense could get nothing done against the worst defense in the NFL. The defense got absolutely manhandled by an offense missing 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen. The penalties were there again. The horrible turnovers was there again. And this Jets team just gives you very little to latch onto right now, Connor, if you're a Jets fan.
Yeah, and once again, the problem is it feels like the same story every single week, right? Where you come out, it feels like a little bit of a rock fight, and then you make one colossal mistake somewhere in the middle of the game, which has been fumbling, really. I mean, the 2 kick returns fumbled throughout the first 4 weeks, the Breece Hall fumble today. And they're just not good enough to overcome a basic mistake, which it spirals into so many different problems. And then they score a couple garbage time drives at the end of the game where you look at it and it feels like they fought, or you could feel better about the scoreboard. And then people, we start the show, should Justin Fields throw more? And that's not the right context of evaluating what's going on. This game was so much further away from what the final score indicated, and they are regressing week after week, and that's a major issue.
Yeah, speaking of regression, I thought this offensive line regressed today. I thought the Cowboys defensive line really put them in a blender with stunts and being able to twist games up front. That was the first time I seen Olu actually struggle in a Jets uniform. I thought he had a rough day. Mimbo fought, but he was a little spotty at times. And up front, man, when you feel like you're starting to get a rhythm in the run game, which they did. I thought they had a couple explosive runs. But we sit here time after time. Justin Fields is not built for a shootout. He's just not that quarterback. The man dropped back over 40 times today and tried to find his way where he was getting hit and tagged left and right, and the game got away from him. So, kind of hit it on the head. This was a regression. Like this was like a big regression. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, last week there was some things you could say, okay, we got to keep fighting, but this felt like rock bottom. So,
I mean, you talk about, where are you going to go for this season, and how do you gauge success for this season? Right now, you're maybe one of 2 teams that are winless. And we just thought
the Titans play this afternoon still, so we still haven't seen they could win. We thought we can just put a check mark around the Panthers. I don't know what the final score is yet with them and the Dolphins, but they're battling and moving the ball on the team that just destroyed you. They've rushed for over 225 yards. So it says that, you can be productive in this league, but they just can't put together a complete performance. I don't know what they have to do, who's going to step up, what the leadership is going to do to make it have a different outcome. I mean, going over to London next week, going to play. Listen, nobody in this league is going to feel sorry for you. They got you down. They're going to stump you down, right? And
they smell blood in the water right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's tough. I don't know. Breece Hall, today had the costly fumble, but he averaged over 8 yards per carry. It's just they give up big plays. They're just a bad football team. I mean, how many times are you going to get beat on the same play for a touchdown? Tailback to the flats. That was week 1. Aaron Rodgers, wide open, didn't make the adjustment, and one of your best players is on the edge and supposed to see that. I don't know what they're being taught to read, but they just don't get. They have zero awareness. I showed you before when I told you how it was bad communication. Now, it wasn't bad communication today. It was bad execution. Tackling, fundamentals, finding the ball in the air, giving up big plays, explosive plays, turnovers.
But and quickly, Bart hit it. He's right. I think last week so much was talked about the penalties, but they had a couple bad drops, and tackling was horrible, and it rolled over to this week. So we can continue to harp on the penalties, but it's really from an execution standpoint, they're just not good right now.
No, in no areas. And to your point, Bart, Breece Hall was really the only bright spot on the day. 14 carries, 113 yards, averaging 8.1 yards per carry. Every time you handed the ball off to him, he was off to the races. But it was his incredibly costly turnover that changed the entire momentum of the game. And if you look at the final 2.5 minutes of the first half, it's staggering. So Brees fumbles at the Dallas 13 with just under 2.5 minutes to go. The Cowboys come back with a 7-play, 91-yard drive and just $121. That puts them up 17-3 after the touchdown. The Jets then get the ball back, do nothing, 3 and out. The Cowboys get it back and go 67 yards in 14 seconds. And before you can blink, the Jets are going into halftime down by the count of 23-3. It was a 10-3 game with under 2.5 minutes to go in the first half, 23-3. And so let's go piece by piece there. Willie, we'll start with you. Again, Brees Hall, great game, very costly fumble. How do you look at that play in particular?
Well, I just think it breaks you, right? Because you talk about, as you mentioned, start the second quarter, it's 10-3. I mean, at this point, he has 9 carries for 78 yards, and he fumbles on the 9-yard line. This is a red zone error, right? We watched Breland Alley do the same thing on the 3-yard line. By the way, this is the same guy at the end of the game put it on his running back room for not delivering in that moment. So now you're watching this, and this is tough because there's reports out there that Aaron Glenn supposedly put gloves on the guys to prepare for this type of punch, and then this happens, right?
Yeah.
And so it's heartbreaking, man, because then you watch the team start to spiral, and when you start to spiral like that, I don't know who's on the sideline to guide these guys. Mm-hmm. But they've been here too many times for them not to be kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And that's kind of my point. That Brees, and we're going to talk about that fumble more in depth, Bart. You're going to kind of break down exactly what the defense is trying to do and why that's so difficult to hold onto the football when it gets punched like that. But even after that fumble, which should be devastating in its own right just because you take points off the board, what can't happen is the defense just completely lay down the way that they did immediately after that.